I'm not going to start a next generation player just because the league can make money from it. I'm going to start him if he's going to help me win games. If he's not going to help me win games, he's going to sit up there on the bench, regardless of if he's a next gen player or not. And when that kind of pressure came in, and then the role of the GM or the CEO is different than it used to be. Like me and Brian Gordon, Gage, Trevor, we picked that team. Now other people pick the team, and those I'll start him if he's going to help me win games. If he's not going to help me win games, he's going to sit up there on the bench, regardless of if he's a next gen player or not. And when that kind of pressure came in, and then
the basketball timeout show.
The basketball timeout show. The squeaky floorboards are pumping here at the 36ers Arena. Joey Wright in the background. We're about to have a chat with NBL legend Joey Wright. Adelaide Lightning ripping it up. Check it out, the talent. If you do, make sure you check out WNBL. Adelaide Lightning. Oh, what's going on here? Are they real? What's happening here? Oh, gotta check out Joey Wright. What's going on, man?
What's happening? What's happening?
Hey, you down for a chat, bro?
Yes, sir. Let's go.
The role of the CEO is different than it used to be. Like me and Brian Gordon, Gage, Trevor, other people don't have the qualifications, so that was very frustrating.
The basketball timeout show. Yo, BenJahmin with you on the basketball timeout show, part of Saltbush Television and Radio Kapow. Joey Wright, 36ers coach, played NBA, come over to Australia, played the NBL in the early 90s. How are you?
I'm doing excellent, doing well, man. Thanks for having me on. We talked about this for a while.
Total honour.
We finally got it done.
Total honour, because in the stands I was always cheering out, going, come 36ers. If you were down by 10, I always had faith that you were going to bring the boys back in the game. And
not me, the boys were the guys.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm just here for the coach.
All part of bringing that together, though, man. Born in Illinois.
Yes.
And in the United States, of course, basketball, the premier sport as well. Playing over there, what was it like growing up? It must have been so intense on the courts there.
You know, one of the things that was great about growing up in that environment is that we have the community of support. Like, the community supports. If I didn't play well that weekend, as I was walking down the street, it might be an old lady come out the house and be like, hey, work on your free throws, and you need to be better at this.
Even the old ladies doing that?
Yes, everybody. So everybody was involved in it, and everyone talks about it. And it's the reality of it is, it's football in America for football here in Australia. Like, you guys talk about football, you're into it.
There rules.
There's basketball.
Yep. With all that passion that you have in the United States for basketball, especially in the heat of the 80s and the 90s, you were drafted NBA in the early 90s there?
Early 90s.
Man.
I'm not that old.
How's it?
Showing my age here.
Hey, you're doing well. How was that feeling for you?
It was bittersweet.
Right.
Because it is something I'd always dreamed of, hearing my name on NBA draft day. So that was a sweet part.
Yeah, man.
But it was just lower than what I wanted.
Well,
so I thought I'd be in the mid-first round, and I ended up going late second round. So it was a bittersweet moment, but at the end of the day, 20 years later, it's pretty great to be drafted in the NBA.
I was going to say, and then with that draft, the competition of all the players, the coaches, who really inspired you along that way through to the NBA?
I played in college with some really great collegiate players, and Travis Mays and Lance Blanks, Courtney Jeans, some really great guys that went on and had great NBA careers.
Yeah. And
those guys, my whole team inspired me. And my coach, Tom Penders, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be standing here right now. So he really pushed me. Tom Penders, he's the catalyst for all of us.
Yeah.
Hearing our name on draft day. Yeah.
Oh man, what a special moment. With playing basketball being a world sport, as it grew bigger and bigger through the 80s and the 90s, here in Australia, we had it was like the gold rush of basketball in the 80s and 90s for the NBL here, which started in 1979, and then as it progressed, bigger, better imports were coming over, and of course our Australian talent has gotten better every year. Now, Joey, when you came over to Australia, what prompted coming to the NBL, man, and to Australia?
Well, I was playing on a tour team in America with Mike Mitchell and a few other guys, Freddie Cofield, who had all played out here in Australia. And I was playing in Europe at the time, and just left Greece, and just wasn't, the European basketball.
The Greece wasn't flowing for you?
Well, they tell you they're going to pay you, and sometimes they don't. So they said the one thing about Australian basketball is you make sure that you do get paid.
Yep.
And so I came down here just as a debt from those guys, and ended up Loving it.
Dude, and with that you were playing for what was the Geelong Supercats.
Geelong Supercats.
Dude, they got to come back into the league, although So with the Geelong Supercats, of course, what was that like for the town of Geelong and yourself playing for the first time in Australia?
At that particular time, it's probably the best thing that could ever happen to me. I just come out of the NBA fall and went to Geelong, and it was such really like a wholesome families there and just great people, great friends. And I was able to rebound and fall back in love with basketball again. So at that particular time, it was the best place on the planet for me.
So you fell in love with basketball here in the NBL. You got that love back of it.
I got it back. I got it back. I was a bit damaged, as people are after getting cut from the NBA. But when I came out here, and I just really fell in love with basketball again. The people here were really, cordial and treated me really well. And it was just, at that particular time, the best place in the world I could have been.
Man, and that's the rise of basketball in Australia was around that time, that early 90s. As that decade really boomed for the NBL, and with that came a lot of success, but also a bit of heartache for teams. Around that time, I guess the more successful clubs were your Melbourne Tigers. Even Adelaide was jumping up there for a couple of titles.
Adelaide was tough during that time.
Yeah, man, the 80s and 90s for the 36ers.
Yeah.
Who would have thought, your Geelong Supercats back then, would you ever have thought you'd be coaching what came up to around, I think it was the year 2012, after your playing career? For the 36ers, but not only that, you were coaching the Gold Coast Blaze.
And the Brisbane Bullets.
And I've always loved that name, the Blaze, Gold Coast Blaze, and of course the Brisbane Bullets as well, which you won the championship for. Yes. Well done, man, back in 2007.
2007.
That's also a shout out to Joe. Is it Big Joe or is Little
Big
Joe?
Joe.
Oh
yeah.
Man.
No, known as Little Joe
Little Joe
now.
He really did a lot for the 36ers whilst your tenure was there, didn't he?
He was unbelievable. He helped me really build a program here. A lot of the players he had organic relationships with. So when we went out and recruited those guys, the Jason Padees or the Adam Gibsons or the Anthony Petries, he really was a big part of that, and he's just a great catalyst for me and everything I've done since I've been in basketball.
And around that time for the 36ers, when you took over, that was a big hype. I felt that Adelaide was finally getting back on track, and with that first season, you actually made the grand final series. That's correct, isn't it? Yeah. That was a bit of a biffo situation you had with the Perth Wildcats.
Yeah, we made it to the grand final that year, and really did well that year. I think we only lost one game at home, and
Gary Irvin as well was playing for you at the time.
We had Gary Irvin playing, and we only played with one import for that year. We didn't really have enough finances to go with two imports, and we still got to the grand final. I think the guys did a great job.
That's a huge part of a testament to you coming into a club that was kind of languishing on the bottom of the ladder, and then to bring it up. Now, to do that, a coach needs to pick its players, right?
100%. This whole philosophy with coaches allowing the GM or director of player personnel to pick the coaches is the most ridiculous thing ever. In situations like the NBA, no, it's totally okay because those guys have that are picking. They have the pedigree. They have the background. They've played in the NBA. They've been around the NBA. Those guys had a pedigree. The guys that were picking my teams later in the years were guys that
office workers. People hadn't really played basketball before.
They didn't play basketball.
Didn't play basketball either.
So it was really hard for me to continue with that method. I'm happy for them to carry on with that method if that's how they so desire, but that was pretty much why.
I'm going to say that method's not working because I tell you what, the 36ers have not been successful, have not made the playoffs since you were the coach. And since you were picking the teams.
Since I picked the team, they had not played the playoffs. As soon as someone else picked the teams, it started to look a little different. But, every owner gets to lose or win the way they want to lose or win.
That's how they do it. Now, with what I noticed, I used to love your dapper. You'd wear the suits on the side of the court. That's a shout out to Vark. Him and I would be in the stands there yelling out, "Nice suit, that's it," and just really supporting you, man, because we noticed also, knowing that the budget was lower than a Sydney Kings, budget was lower than the Perth Wildcats, Adelaide really had their back against the walls to get the players, but somehow you got what I believe by about the year 2017, 2018, one of the best clubs, one of the best teams assembled in the NBL. I mean, you had Mitch Creek, you had Sobey on the same team. Brimmitt was there, I believe, Getch, Dang, the list goes on. You brought that team unit together at a time when the NBL was really pushing really Melbourne United. Let's just be honest. But the 36ers were there.
Yeah, we were. We had a great grand final series against Melbourne. They obviously won that grand final series.
One of the best.
But that team, if we could have kept that young team together, it's a young Mitch Creek, a young Sully, a young Dang. We had a really good nucleus there, even some local players, and now Doyle on that team.
That's right.
We really was pressed to move on, but for whatever reason, the ownership decided to break that up and go a different route.
Yeah, tough times there, and also I feel the arena that we're in now, what is aptly named the 36ers arena, has a lot of soul and spirit, and I think that gives you a 5-point, 10-point advantage with your fans and energy. Now, some people might think, oh, well, it's up, the players just got to get those balls in, they got to get the block shots, but there's an energy with the crowd that can really put that 5 points on, don't you reckon?
This basketball arena is one of the best basketball arenas in Australia for basketball.
Yes.
It is unbelievable. I do understand the move to the entertainment center. You lose that atmosphere, you lose a little bit of this.
I miss the stomping floorboards.
Yes. It was getting noisy in here.
Yeah, man, that's what, it was about 8,000 in here stomping the floorboards.
Yes, my tie would shake. My tie would shake like that when the energy from off this, I could feel my tie actually moving. There was so much energy. So, really great atmosphere, really great place to play.
Well, that would be good to see some games, perhaps maybe like they could do a heritage round again and bring it back here. I think they tried that once, one of the seasons, one or two seasons ago.
Back here.
But we would like to see some of the games back here in this arena. Now, just quickly on your, moving forward from coaching, NBL, high standards indeed, to now you're bringing up the youth.
Yes.
You're here with Transition Sports Adelaide, and can you run us down what Transition is all about and what we're doing?
So Transition Sports Adelaide is a multi-skilled program where we work on the skill sets on the court. We work on off the court, the pragmatic part of how do you build a team or how do you put together a team, and so these kids are learning that at this age. They're learning, how to put together a training program, a practice program. They actually have tests that we take. So it's a lot more than just basketball skills. We try to skill them up in every area.
So a bit of basketball culture.
Yes, everything. How to treat people, how to respect people.
Nice.
So they come in here, all these coaches, they have to respect all the players, they have to respect. So we're teaching them a right way to play the game, which sometimes
the Joey Wright way to play.
The Joey Wright way to play. And then sometimes it may rub some people the wrong way, but this is how we play basketball and how it should be played. Yeah,
down to the nitty gritty. Now, I was watching Joey, we got some footage of that, really getting stuck into some of the players, some of their age of 16, 17 coming up.
16, 17,
yeah, man.
We got them as low as 8, 9.
Yeah, nice.
But I love it. It's a great place for me to be on a Saturday. It's a great place for these kids to be.
Oh, Joey Wright, thank you so much for joining us here on Saltbush Television, the Basketball Timeout Show. Do you want to give a shout out to some of I know you do some podcasts with Body as well?
Yes. I want to shout out Body. I want to shout out Shoot HQ, my gym around the corner as well. You guys looking for a place to come play in the hoop 24 hours a day, Shoot HQ.
Hey, man, and thank you so much for what you've done for the Adelaide 36ers. You know how much I love it. And, man, I'll always put you right up there with Phil Smythe, Ken Cole, Joey Wright for the Adelaide 36ers, man. High fives.
Thank you.
Yo, let's get back on the court.
Let's go.
Joey.
This has been the Basketball Timeout Show.